Okay, artists, this is going to be your setup for today for printmaking. I only have 3 of these, so we're going to have to share them. We're just probably not use them more than likely. And you're going to have one of these to share per table. And the cool thing that I've discovered is I can use these transparency sheets, which I have a bunch of, and then at the end I'll just throw those away. So please try not to get it on the board and keep it in this area. Where it says foam tray here, that's where you're gonna be putting your ink today, artist. So you should have a green, larger piece of paper. The person next to you is gonna share a tray with you. You have your foam sheet. I've printed on this, your foam block over and over. I've printed on it, and you're gonna make something that looks like this today. It's to practice pull, okay? So once again, you're gonna get your ruler, and you're gonna set this up here like this, artist, to where it's 4 inches one side, 4 inches on the other, and then find your little dot, okay? So this doesn't have to be perfect today. And like I said, this is your practice. And then you have your mat here. And then you're gonna have a brayer and your printing plate and some ink. Okay, artist, I've made a little sheet like this. You're gonna go ahead and fold it in half, and this is what you use for pressing on the foam plate. I'm gonna go ahead and fold that in half. Make sure when you put your arrow on the back, and I don't have my name on this because I'm the teacher, but yes, I should have put my name on there, that where the arrow is pointing is where the center of your paper is going to be, okay? Because if I had it out like this and I set it down and that's my arrow, it would not make a circle. You want to do a radial print. So now I'm going to show you how to put the ink out on the plate. Artist, you can have a scrap piece of paper to set the brayer on if you want. So I put it on the yellow piece of paper that's here, and I just have the brayer sitting here. Now, when you put your ink on, I went ahead and cleaned this so I'd have it. Before I put the ink there, it makes more sense to put it here. Think about spreading out toothpaste. So very carefully open up the tube. This will stain your clothes, artist. And put just a line there on the side. Close it back up. And then, artist, you're going to take your brayer. Let me show you exactly what I meant as I was just setting this here on this piece of paper. So where the yellow paper is, we can just put a scrap piece of paper, and that way, when you're not using it, the handle's not in the ink. So go back to this section, I get a little bit of ink, and I go right beside it, going back and forth, and you're going to hear this, the sound that I was talking about. Okay, and you can see how it's all smooth and not clumpy, and then all the ink is spread across here. Now I'm going to show you how to do it on the foam plate. So now here's my foam plate. Think about where your arrow is, okay? This is your messy mat, and there's my scrap paper. So you could actually do it here or do it on a scrap piece of paper, meaning set that on a scrap piece of paper. You want to be careful when you're putting your fingers around here, artists, and also not get a bunch of ink. My paper's moving all over on the bottom. So then I set my brayer back down on that scrap piece of paper. I very carefully lift it up on the edges, and I turn it over, and I think about where the arrow is. So here is the arrow, and I need to move my camera so you can see a little better there. So there's the middle point. I put the arrow facing it. Very carefully kind of judge and see where you're close to the edge of the paper, because once you lay this down, artist, you're not going to be able to pick it back up. Now, this is what I had designed this for. If you don't like using this, that's okay. I personally think it's a little harder to rub on top of that styrofoam. So go all the way around, set your paper aside, very carefully pull it up, and that's what we call pulling a print. Then I would go back and do the same step again. So I'll move this over here, and I'll just do it through twice to show you. And if you need more ink, then get the tube. So I'm gonna pick up my brayer, take the ink from here, and you're gonna be sharing this with the person next to you. Okay. And then I'm gonna come back to my plate. Sorry for the squeaking. And I like to roll back and forth this direction, and also go this direction. Okay, set the brayer down, pick up my plate, with the edge, very carefully touching the edge. There is my arrow. I don't think you can see it, so let me move this around here so you can see it, artist. Set my arrow where it's gonna touch the edge right there. Very carefully place it with the center. Go to the edge. Like I said, I like to use this. Or if we have, like I said, I only have 3 of these. I would love to get some more of these. You have to very carefully hold the edge. It's a texture thing, that way you don't have to actually hold on to it. Then you very carefully peel it. Voila. Now, you cannot go back and re-ink this. You're just gonna do your best, and you're gonna have your radial painting underneath it, and then you would finish it. At the end, artist, please make sure that in the bottom of the sink, you wash this off as best you can, okay? And because you're gonna use it tomorrow when you do your radial print with your painting. Okay, artists, make sure you go to the correct sink and you're not turning on the water full blast because it will make a mess. And then in the bottom of the sink is what I was saying. I'll turn this water down. You just take your fingers and gently rub it around because these things will break. They're only made of foam. And then when you're done, make sure all the ink's off. You're gonna wash your hands really good. Do kind of a little tap like that. Take a paper towel, gently dry it off, and then you're ready to use it for tomorrow. Hey artists, so here's our setup. These will go in the sink and they'll get cleaned off if we have time. And then they'll go on the drying rack to dry. This scrap paper will go in the trash. And then I'm gonna explain to you what to do here. The cool thing is, like I said, you can take this tape off. I'd like to be able to use the blue tape again. What I want you to do is to have it ready for the next class. So you very carefully peel that up. And then, as long as there's not any ink on it, okay? And then I just set that there. This, artist, goes in the trash. Make sure it's facing down. Put it in the big trash can, artist. That way we won't have it if people are dumping trash later. Then try to have the shiny side facing up. Make sure that's touching the board here, pressing the board both sides. Take that tape. Like I said, if you need another piece of tape, we'll get another piece of tape. You know, Mrs. Milligan, I like to recycle. Press that down and then stack it back up on the card in the back and it's ready to go for the next class. And then make sure, if this is all clean, set this on top of it. And then you're gonna take your pieces of paper, artist, that you have. This is your practice. You can take it home. Fold this as best you can. Now I have ink here, so what I would do is get a scrap piece of paper because tomorrow you're going to use this as a mat, you know, to use. So you're gonna set that on top, fold it up, and set this, and this is one that I've used before, so this is dry. Place this in your mailbox. Make sure that none of your papers are gonna get ink on them. If you need to stack it in another place, we'll find a place for it. Or you could actually put it underneath your mailbox, artist. Hope you enjoyed printmaking.